this time towards Yunus Akgün, who does have 7 goals to his name this season, the 25-year-old. Well, this effort was up and over the top. Of course, Antalyaspor will be keeping an eye urgently behind them, the likes of Kancherbi Ligi and Kayesa Report, both playing this evening for the teams just behind them outside the relegation zone. And it'll be music to their ears because both of those sides are losing. Kayserispor have gone 1-0 down to Antalyaspor. And that'll be good news for Antalyaspor because they need results to go their way this evening as they cast an eye swiftly behind them. Swiftly, though, moving out to the right-hand side of Galatasaray. Charlotte back towards the edge of the centre circle, collected by Bardak. And now out towards Yilmaz, who's always taking up station on that left-hand side. Yilmaz just cuts in on his right foot, looks for support, has it. Galatasaray try and just build down the left-hand side. Here's Yilmaz again. Yilmaz, little turn of pace to try and get away from Bulk. Can he get his right-footed crossing? No, deflected. Bulk did well. Can he clear his lines? He's just penned in by Yilmaz. And then as the ball comes off the back of Yilmaz's heel as he put Bulk under pressure, Antalyaspor got the break of the ball and can try and clear it away. Their clearance is straight out of play. Galatasaray, of course, they'll be keeping an eye on Fenerbahce. Fenerbahce still 0-0. They're away at Konyaspor this evening. Here's Davinson Sanchez inside the Galatasaray half. 10 minutes gone here at the Ram Stadium. Galatasaray 0, Antalyaspor 0. Crucial match in the Turkish Super League. And the tension is high. Davinson Sanchez, his ball is fired out wide towards Sane, but you can just see that tension. Leroy Sane with an uncharacteristic heavy touch, just lets it bounce off him, and the ball goes straight out of play for a throw-in to the away side. And Pal will have this throw. Pal then, the 33-year-old, just looked to work the ball down the line, go all the way back towards Chianete, of course the former Udinese and Vélez Sarsfield in Argentina player, now 32 years of age. Working in towards the midfield, and the long clearance upfield is headed away by the right back of Galatasaray, Roland Charlotte. Collected it left back then again by Kenneth Parr, who's seen a lot of the ball, but the referee has just pulled it back for a free kick on halfway. So Netherlands born left back just hand it back, and it'll be a free kick that Galatasaray will work along their back line. Here's Badak, left-footed. He'll angle one across field towards Sane. Sane's touch is better this time, but he makes tracks back towards halfway. Lays it in towards the feet of Torreira, who is bang on halfway. A little bit of space though for Akgün on the edge of the penalty area. Sane down the right-hand side, the support. Akgün, was he fouled? Referee waves play on. Sane still has it 25 yards from goal. Torreira is there to support. Akgün again, offloaded to Torreira, neat from the lines, in towards the penalty area. Low cross though was scuffed by Torreira. It was never getting anywhere near Osimhen, and it's cleared away by the back line of Antalyaspor. And they give away a free kick, and again Galatasaray don't stand on ceremony. They get on with it and work it out towards the left-hand side. Jakobs, Yilmaz looks for Jakobs again, and Jakobs will get there. Jakobs across the penalty area. Nobody there though. Osimhen had gambled towards the far post and nobody was coming in on the penalty spot. Cleared out towards Yilmaz. Yilmaz challenged out on the right-hand side by Abdullah Omar. Galatasaray will just tidy it up again. They're now starting to see a lot of the ball, the league leaders. Keeper Akkar works it up towards Davinson Sanchez. Charlotte down the right-hand side towards Sane. Sane just dribbles away from one and away from two. Does a little bit too much, but Torreira comes in to maintain possession. Collected down the right-hand side. Chipped in towards Osimhen. Osimhen's header, though. Did he see it late, or was it taken off his head? It was taken off his head, I think, by Chianete. And in the end, it doesn't matter because the offside flag is up. Osimhen can't believe it. He thinks that he timed his run well, but again, it was just well worked by Galatasaray. chipped into the area, left-footed by Yunus Akgün, up towards the head of that man Victor Osimhen, but in the end, Osimhen, as we can see from the replays, was at least half a yard offside. So it'll be a free kick that's taken by Antalyaspor, but there's too much heat on that from keeper Abdullah Yagita. And it's all the way through to his goalkeeping counterpart, Jürgen Acar. Fenerbahce take the lead away at Konyaspor. So a big goal in the Turkish league. Fenerbahce move to within 2 points of Galatasaray, who know that a win this evening will seal it. They do have a better goal difference, so a point wouldn't be a bad thing. But either way, there's now only 2 points in it as it stands. Galatasaray are away on the final day of the season. Fenerbahce are at home. Fenerbahce have taken the lead this evening. They are 1-0 up. Galatasaray, I'm sure news of that will filter through the stands here at the Ram Stadium. Yilmaz out towards the left-hand side. Right-footed ball in towards the far post. Just headed away from the arriving Yunus Akgün by the head of Turkmen, and he had to get his head on it, the number 4, because Akgün was arriving, and it'll be a corner, the first of the evening for Galatasaray. Across they go towards the right-hand side to take it. Forward come the tall heads from the back, the likes of Bardak, who's yet to score this season, and Davinson Sanchez are in there. Of course, Osimhen is always the target and always the threat. The corner will be taken by Yilmaz, right-footed out swinger in towards the near post. It's going to come back out towards Yilmaz from the early deflection. Back in it goes, headed away, collected by the number 4 on the edge of Jakobs. Jakobs, though, he tried to just touch it up and over his man, and then it seemed to come off an outstretched arm, and it will be a free kick awarded by Cagdas Altay. Galatasaray take it quickly. Out towards Akgün again. Akgün, good feet, gets away from one and away from two. Space for Galatasaray down the right-hand side. They pick out Sane. Sane finds the feet of Akgün again. He swings it in towards Osimhen. Osimhen brings it down, and Osimhen into the side netting. Well, he wants a corner, Victor Osimhen. He's not going to get it. Again, it's really good play by Akgün. This time, Osimhen timed his run well, chested it down inside the 6-yard box, and from the narrow angle, just drilled it into the surface. It bounced up and wide, and again, it's another chance for Galatasaray to take the lead. And Victor Osimhen, the top scorer this season, the former Napoli man, of course, he was the man who became the record-breaking signing for Galatasaray in that €75 million move from Napoli. Of course, he's been the league's most lethal striker, really, with 14 goals in 21 games, but he's missed so many through injury this season, and he wanted a corner for that effort that he's just pulled wide into the side netting, and a goal kick that was awarded by Cagdas Altay was the right decision. Osimhen just dragged his shot wide. Certainly tried to get more power than placement on it. As for Antalyaspor, well, as they look behind them, Kanchabeligi are now 2-0 down. So they are 28 points. They're the team that directly threatens Antalyaspor. As it stands at the moment, Antalyaspor are picking up a point. Even if they didn't, they'd still be out of the drop zone come the end of the evening. They will know that. News filters through quickly in this game, in this beautiful game, as we all know. Long ball forward, down the left-hand side for Antalyaspor. One down the left-hand side as well. And they've got men over in this attack. It's collected and worked towards the dead ball line. The ball that's angled in, though, just comes off the feet. It was Dario Ali trying to angle one in, but it was Roland Charlie defending. And now, for the first time this evening, Antalyaspor can have a corner. The referee just asking for them to get on with things. In fact, it just went out for a throw-in. That was the delay, so the throw-in is taken by Kenneth Park. Worked back by Ari, but given away, loose ball, and now they'll have to try and work back. Sese can't get there. Osimhen can, though, for Galatasaray, and they'll work it out towards the left-hand side. Forward comes Jacobs. It's Torreira. Atkin comes deep again. Davinson Sanchez over halfway. Atkin. Lovely little drop of the shoulder from Sane, who came deep to get involved. All the way back towards halfway again. Torreira. Here's Atkin, heavily involved and gets away from his man, but then gives it away and then pulls back Dickman, who was just looking to slyly get away from Yunus Atkin. There's going to be a foul. Of course, he scored Galatasaray's lone goal in their recent 4-1 setback against Samsunspor last week. Of course, he came through the Galatasaray Youth Academy and certainly a standout player for them. Now 25 years of age and just glides through defences on that left foot. And of course, Leicester fans or English football fans will remember his loan in 2024 for Leicester City, where he really managed to sort of find the grade really of English football, but now has racked up over 100 appearances for Galatasaray and has certainly been a bit of a standout performer so far this evening. It's just a little bit of a break in play here while Dario Ari has been down receiving some treatment, and he certainly looks to be struggling, Dario Ari, and I think they're going to have to make a change because he's in deep conversation with the coaching staff. Is the 28-year-old midfielder. Of course, he's been in constant rotation really for them this season. Former Palermo man, Ascoli and Carpe and in Italy. Of course, the country of his birth, but opted to play for Bosnia and Herzegovina. And again, he's come back onto the pitch, but he's quickly gone down and he holds his head in his hands because I think he knows, Dario Ari, that his race and indeed his season might be done. And I imagine the fear and the tears that are almost in Dario Ari's eyes are very much to do with A, not being able to help his side fight this relegation battle, but does that put his World Cup spot into question, because he's represented Bosnia and Herzegovina multiple times during the qualifying campaign, and as he makes his way down the tunnel, discordant figure, we'll certainly keep an eye on that in the weeks to come. Galatasaray, though, they're looking to get on with business because they haven't readied the change yet. So against 10 men, Galatasaray play. Antalyaspor need to sort their change out quickly because here comes Sane towards the edge of the penalty area. They work it out towards Yilmaz on the left-hand side. Yilmaz cuts inside on his right foot, checks back and towards his left. Now he's inside the penalty area. Right-footed cross in. Headed away, though, by Antalyaspor. They'll try and work it out down the right-hand side and towards Balk. Balk tried to pick out Ballet, but Galatasaray, using that man advantage, made the pitch small and turned it over with Sane inside the Antalyaspor half. Torreira. Space for Jacobs, up from left back for the Lions. Out towards Yilmaz. Yilmaz on his right foot crosses it very deep in towards the far post area where Atkin isn't going to get there and bring that one down. And now I imagine Antalyaspor will look to make that change. Just seeing exactly what Dario Ari was so upset about. It was just the pullback from Atkin, and then Dario Ari threw himself to the floor and went down on his knees, and I think it may have been the landing, but either way, Ramzi Safuri has been the man to replace him. So Safuri on, Ari replaced. Still 0-0 here, 23 minutes gone at the Rams Stadium. Headed down by Antalyaspor inside the Galatasaray half. Appeals for handball on Dickman, which is awarded by referee Kagdas Alte, and Galatasaray get on with it quickly and work it out towards the left-hand side. Collected by Jacobs. Jacobs just drifts infield. Back towards halfway. Badak. Here's Yilmaz down the left-hand side. Galatasaray just trying to probe this back line of Antalyaspor. And forward they come again. Jacobs. Yilmaz though just had it towed away from him. So it'll be a throw into Galatasaray down the left-hand side that Ismail Jacobs, of course the former Monaco man, will take, and he's got that long throw that he will look to wind up and hurl in towards the penalty area. Well headed away though by the defensive unit of Antalyaspor, and then the referee has decided there was a little bit of climbing from Galatasaray players inside the box. It'll be a free kick to the relegation threatened Antalyaspor. So, all down the right-hand side. There's a little bit of confusion because the referee wants the throw-in to be retaken. In fact, no, he said it's a foul throw, so you don't see very often. That's why the referee didn't want them to take the free kick. He turned the throw-in over, and Antalyaspor will take it, but they give it away. Angled ball out towards the right-hand side, finds Roland Charlie, who's very well advanced. He whips the ball in towards the penalty area, but Yagita easily collects. It's just that one change then has come so far in this game. It was Dario Ali who had to be replaced by Safuri. So Safuri in. Take up that central defensive midfield position, and here he is on the ball. His first pass is to give it away though, right into the path of Leroy Sané, and Parle had to scamper across and make sure that it went out for a throw. Throw in taken quickly. Charlie. Sanchez at the back for the Lions. Bardak up and over halfway, the Turkish centre-back. Out now towards Jacobs, who's well advanced. He puts his ball in towards the penalty area. Osimhen climbs. Osimhen goes down, appeals for a foul. Referee waves play on, and then it's cleared away. Osimhen certainly felt he was pushed in the back, but it didn't seem to be too much in it whatsoever. Back out it goes towards the edge of the centre circle. Galatasaray are just looking to maintain all the possession. Antalyaspor have been hard pressed to find possession, let alone territory, inside the league leaders' half. Here's Davinson Sanchez. Torreira comes deep, works it out towards Sané on the right-hand side. Sané checks back onto his left foot, but gives it away, and now Antalyaspor can make tracks down the left-hand side for once in a blue moon with Sinek. Sinek felt he was fouled. Referee tried to play the advantage. Sinek has stayed down, the 27-year-old Turkish man, and he's clutching his hamstring, and he is in a lot of pain here. Sinek just went down awkwardly, and it almost seemed straight away that he was signalling that he pulled his hamstring. Now, with them already losing, of course, add it to that injury, who had to be replaced by Safuri just 3 or 4 minutes ago. If they use Sinek, obviously the former Hull City man, then that will be a devastating series of events, because, of course, Dukan Sinek is one of their best players really in this side. He's very direct, the left-sided attacker. We've seen it in the opening stages of this game. He's got one of the highest dribbling success rates in the Turkish Super League this season, which speaks its own volumes really when you consider that Antalyaspor are fighting off relegation at the wrong end of the table. He's certainly still down receiving treatment, and now limping his way towards the left-hand side. So will this result in another change that Antalyaspor will have to make? They're certainly readying players on the bench, and coach Sami Yagulu does not look happy, and understandably so. Sinek is off the pitch, but he's down, and the physios go to work, and once again Galatasaray will play against 10 men for a brief period. Here's Davinson Sanchez, works it out towards the right-hand side. Akgün comes all the way towards the halfway line to collect it and try and get involved with play. Here's Torreira. Through the centre circle it goes out towards Bardak. Yilmaz chips it forward towards Jacobs, who's more advanced. Jacobs back towards Yilmaz again. Neat play by Yilmaz. Jacobs again. Jacobs just waits for support. It arrives with Torreira. Torreira seeks out Yilmaz on the left-hand side. Yilmaz's crosses into a good area, headed goalwards, but in the end easily saved by Abdullah Yagita. The header came in, it was on target, but there was just not enough direction on the header for it to ever really trouble Yagita. In the end, it was easily collected and bowled away. But again, Antalyaspor just give the ball straight back to Galatasaray. They've nearly put 3 times as many passes together as their opponents tonight have, Galatasaray, already, and we're only in the 30th minute. Sane up towards Torreira. Torreira on the edge of the penalty area. Yilmaz, they want handball. Referee waves it away. Helped away only as far as Bardak. Collects it at the back for Galatasaray, and forward they will come once more. Gunzu tops deep to mop up the play in that familiar quarterback role. See him as advanced really as he used to be when he was obviously of course at Manchester City, or before that in the likes of his time at Borussia Dortmund. Worked out towards the right hand side. Akgün in towards Osimhen. Osimhen's going to get there inside the penalty area. It was half headed away. He'll let it run out of play, and Galatasaray will accept the corner. Corner on the right hand side. Seeing the appeals for handball again, it's certainly come off the head of Benjamin Balk, and that change is made. So Sinek has had to have been replaced, and it'll probably be a reshuffle in formation because Randa Streek has come on. So as the corner comes in and is all the way through towards the far post, sent goalwards off the line. Well, it was fired goalwards by Roland Charlet, and the captain in Benjamin Balk just took up station on the goal line as he saw goalkeeper Yagita just flap at it as he drifted towards the edge of his 6-yard box. The shot was definitely heading goalwards from Charlet, but the captain Balk took up a good position and just fended it behind for another corner. Corner that'll be taken by Yilmaz from the opposite side. Galatasaray 0, Antalyaspor 0. Right-footed corner in towards the penalty area. Keeper does punch it this time. Out towards Akgün on the edge. Akgün can't work it back in towards the penalty areas. He's charged down, but he scampers after it and collects the loose ball. And the referee is going to stop play because keeper Yagita has gone down. Now he's clutching his arm, because they've already had 2 players go off with injury. Osimhen is pleading his innocence. Just seeing a replay of it. Yagita came and punched. Got a decent connection on it with his right arm, and then almost seemed to just back into Osimhen. So seems to be okay and back to his feet, and on we go once more. Torreira inside the Antalyaspor half. Bardak. Davinson Sanchez, angled ball out towards the right-hand side, which is well collected by Roland Charlet, the right-back who's well advanced. Here's Sane. Charlet again. Sane once more. The two just interchange passes, and Sane will drop in field. Carries it through. Sanchez. Bardak. The centre-back swashbuckles all the way through the half and then dives in on Hjernete. It wasn't a smart challenge by Bardak at all. Dribbling inside the opposition half was certainly nosebleed territory for Abdullah Bardak, and then his challenge was not smart at all. He was nowhere near the ball. It was 2 or 3 yards gone by the time he ploughed into Benjamin Balk. Balk clattered to the ground. To nobody's surprise, Bardak picks up a yellow card. So, as we tick in towards the 33rd minute, elsewhere in the Turkish Super League, Fenerbahce lead 1-0. 2 points now the gap. As things stay as they are, it will go down to the last day of the season. Antalyaspor, again, plenty in it for them in this game. A draw at the moment is keeping them 2 points above the drop zone. No one below them is winning. Kabaligi are the closest team, and they're 2-0 down. Behind them is Kayserispor, who are drawing 1-1. Long ball forward by Antalyaspor, but is fended away by the left boot of Jakobs up towards Osimhen on halfway. Osimhen wins the free kick and takes it quickly. They work it out towards the right-hand side, edge of the 18-yard box. In cuts Atkin onto his left foot, looks for support, has it with Charlie, who's up from right back again. The two play a little 1-2 down the right-hand side. Parr just presses Atkin back, good defending from the away side. Galatasaray there, they're almost camped inside the Antalyaspor half. Bardak, the man who was recently booked. Work it back to the edge of the box again. Torreira, Atkin. Atkin's going to swing across in towards Osimhen. Osimhen got over it, but couldn't get over it enough. His header is up and over the top of the crossbar, and Yagita again had come for a cross that he was getting nowhere near. As Bardak swung it in, Osimhen got first contact, a good half a yard in front of the on-rushing Yagita, and he may have just had half an eye on the purple-kitted goalkeeper, who was just rushing out to try and meet the cross, and in the end, Osimhen's header was up and over the top of the crossbar. Goal kick that'll be taken then by the aforementioned Abdullah Yagita. 14th appearance for the Turkish goalkeeper tonight. Of course, he was previously a youth and senior player for Fenerbahce, so he'll be eager to keep a clean sheet, I'm sure, this evening. Ball just goes out of play over on the left-hand side. Galatasaray have a throw just about 5 yards inside their own half, and across will go Ismail Jakobs to take it. He's got a long throw on him, but instead he'll use that long throw to go back towards his own keeper, Jürgen Acker. Here's Bardak. Gundogan. Davinson Sanchez dribbles out from the back for the Lions. And now up towards the right-hand side where Charlie will collect. Torreira, always coming deep to get involved in the play. The press, though, on him from substitute Safuri is good. Safuri just caught Torreira. The referee waved on the advantage, and it was a good advantage because escaping down the right-hand side comes Atkin. Atkin's ball into Osimhen. Osimhen's header, though, again, just off target, couldn't direct it goalwards. Really good play down the right-hand side from Galatasaray as Torreira worked the angle, and then Atkin collected the loose ball, and his right-footed cross was almost bang on the penalty spot where Osimhen was arriving. But again, the Nigerian frontman mistimes his header and skews it a good 10 yards wide. Goal kick again then for Yagita, the Antalyaspor keeper. On ball 4, headed away by Davinson Sanchez. Further forward, it's flicked up towards halfway by Torreira. Collected though by Antalyaspor and his substitute Safuri. Safuri looking for options, doesn't have any because he's put under pressure by Davinson Sanchez, who crunched into the challenge, then had a word with Safuri as well. It's a well-timed tackle from Davinson Sanchez. I don't think he was too happy about how Safuri stayed down. You can see why, because he won all of the ball. Throw-in taken by Antalyaspor. Given away then. Davinson Sanchez. Was he caught late by the front man, Van der Streek? Yes, says referee Kagdas Alte, so we come forward for a free kick. Galatasaray getting on with all the free kicks and all the dead balls quickly this evening. They are desperate to get on the score sheet and try and make sure that title is sealed tonight here at home in front of an expectant home support. Here goes Jakobs down the left-hand side, tries to swing across in from about 2 yards shy of the dead ball line, but it's headed away by the white shirts of the Antalyaspor defence. Yilmaz drives down the left-hand side, looks for support and has it with Jakobs. He's going to swing a ball in from deep again. That one's going to bounce behind for a corner, is it? No, just stopped by Yagita. He did well to prevent the corner, did the 26-year-old Turkish keeper. 7 minutes until the break. Galatasaray 0, Antalyaspor 0. Yagita, ball in his hands, just clear out of those hands, long downfield up towards, and he's been very isolated so far this evening, the Swiss international Samuel Ballet. He's never going to have the end of that from Yagita, because it was sent straight out of play. Ball back forward then by Galatasaray. Osimhen isolated on the right-hand side. He's got Turkmen for company. Osimhen takes Turkmen all the way towards the dead ball line. Back comes Seferi to help out. Osimhen does really well, manages to finally offload towards Sane, and then Saneman does well to try and get around the outside of Turkmen, and in the end wins the set piece. Osimhen just trying to rally the locals here as they're all cladded out in the yellow and red familiar strips. A sea of yellow and red surrounds the Ram Stadium, as Osimhen's rallying cry resulted in Yilmaz putting the money on this corner. A little bit of a delay as the referee just stops a little bit of pushing and shoving. Now we're ready. Yilmaz in towards the penalty area, headed goalwards, but again just a mistimed header. This time it's from Captain Badak, who was up from the back. The 31-year-old just headers high up and over the top. Certainly been opportunities for Galatasaray in this half. More than Victor Osimhen, who's had a couple of headed opportunities, but so far nothing too threatening on target. Yagita, right-footed, clear down the left-hand side. Davinson Sanchez times his header well in front of substitute Van der Streek. It'll be a throw-in down the left-hand side that's collected by Ballet. Ballet's just come out to this left-hand side since Van der Streek's come on, really. Van der Streek certainly much more of a centre forward. Now they'll make tracks down the left-hand side. Antalyaspor all the way towards the dead ball line. So Seferi tries to put his cross in, but Leroy Sané back doing his defensive duties, the German. And it'll be a throw-in deep inside the Galatasaray half. Taken by Park. Back towards Seferi. Seferi pushed over blatantly by number 34 of Torreira. And the referee just gives the Uruguayan a little bit of a stern warning, because Seferi certainly knew what he was doing, was waiting for the contact, but Torreira's reaction to the free kick being given and towards the referee wasn't too advisable. Either way, the referee just has a word with Torreira, marks out the line for the free kick, and this free kick will be taken from the left-hand side. Right-footed in swinger. We're about 12 yards outside the penalty area and about 5 yards left of the penalty area as you look at it. So one of those wide in-swinging free kicks is delivered in towards the penalty area, all the way towards the far post, and both men climbed, Yanete and Sese, but no one got on the end of it, and it's cleared away by Galatasaray from the goal quickly. They've taken quickly out towards Jakobs. Jakobs just looks for a little bit of support in the middle of the park and has it with Torreira. Torreira all the way towards halfway, angles one neatly up towards the edge of the penalty area. Galatasaray come forward, Sane down the right hand side. Sane tries to check back onto his left foot but goes towards the dead ball line. Can he get his cross in? No. Good defending by Parl, but at the expense of a corner. And as we tick towards the 43rd minute, Galatasaray, the Lions, are just starting to try and find their roar towards the end of this first half. Now there's just a little bit of a flashpoint inside the penalty area. Osimhen wasn't happy that he was having his, well, not his, but what he felt was the Galatasaray ball hidden and kept away from a quick corner by goalkeeper Yagita. Corner now will be taken, swung in towards the penalty area. Osimhen climbs, doesn't quite connect with it, works all the way through towards the far post where it'll be collected by Badak. Badak, the centre-back, very wide, throws a little nutmeg though, gets towards the edge of the penalty area, swings it in towards Osimhen, and he just saw it late and put it wide. Well, Badak was advanced from the corner down the left-hand side. He threw a lovely little nutmeg on Turkmen, worked it, a delicious ball towards the far post, and Osimhen just saw it late. I think the centre-forward didn't quite see it and just put it wide of the far post. Certainly another chance for Victor Osimhen to add to the 14 goals he's already got this season. Couldn't get it on target. Long ball forward from keeper Yagita for Antalyaspor. Headed out of play though, and will be a throw in to the team all in white. Forward they'll come, and the referee's just stopped play because Roland Charlet has gone down off the ball. Charlet and it seems to be Samuel Ballet in close attendance. Ballet just seemed to give him a slight push to move away from him and try and get some space from the throw, and Charlet, the Austrian, went down eagerly, you could say. Either way, referee gives a free kick. Galatasaray once again have possession inside opposition territory. Over 70% of possession Galatasaray have had in this half, but with nothing to show for it in terms of the scoreline, and that's what matters this evening. Forward comes Jacobs, dispossessed, but Galatasaray managed to retain possession inside the half of their opponents, Antalyaspor. Chinetti tries to play it out from the back, but again his pass is loose and Galatasaray will have a throw, and Jacobs can come down and forward can come the likes of Budak and Davinson Sanchez from the back, because we'll have 5 minutes added on, so plenty of time to take this throw and plenty of time still to go here at the Ram Stadium. Long throw coming in from Galatasaray, level with the penalty area, hurled in towards the near post. Good header away by Bulk, tidied up by Torreira though, and worked back out towards Jacobs on that left-hand side. Davinson Sanchez. Galatasaray work it backwards. Torreira. Last man back is Roland Charlet. He's all the way on halfway, and alongside him now is Davinson Sanchez, who picks it up. Looks for a little bit of space down the left-hand side, but it's a good press and good organisation by the Antalyaspor back line, forcing the Lions backwards. Torreira, he angles one out towards the right-hand side where Yilmaz has just switched wings for a brief period of time. Sane tries to play it in towards the edge of the penalty area, but his pass is loose. Collected now by Ballet, who can go for a run up towards halfway. Here is the Swissman, and then his angled ball forward is just driven into the body of Akgün, and now collected by Yilmaz down the right-hand side. Yilmaz chops back, but Ballet was the man who gave it away, and Ballet was the man who tracked all the way back to make sure that he dispossessed Yilmaz, and then dribbles away with it and keeps it in play. Good defensive effort from Samuel Ballet. Now forward can come Antalyaspor down this left-hand side. Neat little 1-2, and here comes Ballet again. Ballet works it in towards the edge of the penalty area. Van der Streek looked like he was going to get on the end of it. Really well dispossessed by Bardak. Great defending from the Turkish centre-back. Antalyaspor just have it up and inside the Galatasaray half. Here's Sese. The captain Bulk. Sese again. Towards the edge of the penalty area again. Sese, Bulk. 40 comes from right back all the way towards the right-hand side. They swing across it towards the penalty area and headed goalwards and headed in. Well, would you believe it? This Turkish League title takes a significant turn. Antalyaspor have had none of the ball. They've had none of the opportunities. Galatasaray have been on top for this entire first half, but a ball from the right-hand side has just been lifted in with a brilliant cross from Bunyamin Bulk into the penalty area, and then the header has been dispatched beautifully in towards the far post by Abdulakid Omar. It's Galatasaray 0, it's Antalyaspor 1, and what are we seeing here in Turkey? That'll be music to the ears of Fenerbahce fans. They are leading away. Galatasaray are losing at home right on the stroke of half-time, and Antalyaspor take a big step in the right direction away from the relegation zone. 2 minutes to go until half-time. The referee is just holding things here because there is a belated VAR check going on, and I have no idea what for, because Dickman dispatched the header delightfully. Well, they're just having a look to see, did he dispatch it delightfully? Was it off his head? or was it off his arm? It looks to be off the shoulder. It's clearly off the shoulder. The goal is given. Dickman, on the 48th minute and the 3rd minute of stoppage time, has put this away side, this relegation-threatened Antalyaspor ahead. Wow. What a result. And what a twist in the Turkish Super League title this could be. Still one game to go next week, but Galatasaray now have it all to do. And here comes Osimhen down the right-hand side. Low ball in towards the penalty area, and it just couldn't be collected by Yilmaz. Well, Osimhen frustrated. He knew he could have taken it on a little bit more, but he saw Yilmaz in space and just laid it towards him. Yilmaz couldn't collect and get his shot off. Galatasaray have the ball again on halfway. Forward comes Torreira. Galatasaray beaten 4-1 last week. They haven't lost 2 in a row all season in the Turkish Super League. What a time to be doing it now. Bardak, Davinson Sanchez, Galatasaray, as we tick towards halfway, just look a little bit shell-shocked. Akgün tried to force it through the lines, dispossessed, headed back forward towards Yilmaz, but Benjamin Balk, who put in that brilliant cross for the opening goal, has just collected it again on the right-hand side and come all the way towards halfway. He's dispossessed and toes it out of play, and it'll be a throw-in for Galatasaray. Forward they come towards halfway. Collected by Davinson Sanchez inside the centre circle. All eyes on the referee, Kagdaz Altay, in terms of when he'll blow the whistle. They've played the 5 minutes allotted. Surely be another 60 seconds on top of that for the celebrations that greeted that goal. As then it's quick goal to us off his own crossbar. Osimhen throws his head at it, cleared away by Antalyaspor. Well, the keeper stayed down. I think it was Giannetti. The ball was worked in at an awkward angle, and then he just swung a leg at it and fired it off his own crossbar. Drama at the end of the half. The referee blows the half-time whistle. And what a game we are seeing here at the Ram Stadium. We'll just see that chance one more time, right on the stroke of half-time, worked in towards the penalty area. A lazy leg just swung at it by Giannetti, and he was mightily relieved, the 32-year-old, to see his right foot swinger slice behind him but come back off the crossbar. Osimhen jumped for it. Yagita managed to punch it away, and in the end, Antalyaspor clear their lines. Well, Yagita has stayed down, and either way, the players will make their way towards the changing rooms. Well, in this first half, it is fair to say that Galatasaray have had all the possession, 70% of it, 5 corners, 9 shots on target. They've been constantly camped inside the Antalyaspor half, but what do you know? Football is football. And Soner Dickman, on the 3rd minute of injury time, after a brilliant ball was whipped into the penalty area by Benjamin Balk, has dispatched a glancing header, or a glancing shoulder, shall we say, past the outstretched gloves of Jürgen Akar, who was never going to keep it out. And that goal not only separates the teams at half-time, but it has ramifications at both ends of the league. As it stands, Galatasaray will go into the final game of the season a point ahead of second place Fenerbahce, who are leading themselves tonight. Fenerbahce 1-0 up at half-time in their game away at Konyaspor. And as for the relegation-threatened Antalyaspor, who lead here this evening, well, they have done themselves a massive favour, because if things stay this way, they will be 3 points above the drop zone going into the final game of the season. It would have been safe, but Kanchabigli were 2-0 down, have pulled that back to 2-2. So all to play for at both ends of the Turkish Super League. But at half-time here at the Ram Stadium, do not change your channel, because this second half, everything to play for. But in the first half, we'll leave you for the break. It's Galatasaray 0, Antalyaspor 1. first half. What a half of football we were treated to. Galatasaray had all the attacking threat, had all the attacking impetus in that first half, but they could not find the back of the net. They could not break down this Antalyaspor back line. And then, as happens so often in football, on almost the stroke of half-time, Antalyaspor took the lead. Soner Dikmen's third goal of the season, and the 32-year-old Turk dispatched a header. And that has meant now that Okbenbrück will ring the changes in the second half as he looks to try and turn this deficit around. With Fenerbahce winning, it means that the separation in the league just a matter of weeks ago, that was 7 points, has now, as it stands, been cut to 1. So Ilkay Gundogan is going to be replaced for Mario Lemina. And the other change, we'll see Leroy Sané, who was guilty of giving the ball away several times in that first half. He's replaced by Noah Lang. So, can Galatasaray turn this deficit around, or can their opponents this evening, Antalyaspor, continue to pull themselves away from the drop? Only the one yellow card in the first half. That came from the captain for Galatasaray, Badak. And that's all the referee flashed colours in terms of his notebook. One flash of brilliance coming from that Soner Dikmen header has given the relegation threatened Antalyaspor the lead. Fenerbahce are leading. Keep an eye on all the goals in the Turkish league. As it stands, things are going to the last game of the season. Galatasaray then have the ball inside the centre circle. Torreira out to this left-hand side. Badak. Now, first touch of the second half for Noah Lang. Out towards the right-hand side through Sanchez. Collected by Galatasaray, and they'll work their way towards the dead ball line. Worked in towards Yilmaz, edge of the penalty area. Tried to chip one in, headed away. Not enough on the cross from Yilmaz. Be a Galatasaray throw out wide on the right-hand side, and of course cross goes Jakobs all the way from his left-back station to take this from the attacking right. So plenty forward for Galatasaray for this throw, as it's hurled in towards the near post, punched out from the edge of the penalty area, comes down towards the edge where Lang tried to collect but couldn't, and then it's helped out all the way up and over halfway, but there's no one advanced for Antalyaspor. Akar, the keeper for Galatasaray, will chip one forward. Look towards Osimhen, courtesy of Yilmaz. Osimhen again. Osimhen on the edge, seeks out a bit of support, has it down the right-hand side. Ball worked towards the edge of the penalty area, but again Antalyaspor just frustrate this Galatasaray forward line. Davinson Sanchez steps in, tried to just play it in field, but in the end it was collected by Ramzi Safuri, the Israeli who came on midway through the first half. A couple of injuries in the first half, of course, for Antalyaspor. They had to make the two changes in that first half. First with Arik, who had to be withdrawn, and Safuri came on. The second, Sinek, he went down, and Van der Streek had to come on. So only the two changes so far for Antalyaspor, but they were both injury related. The two changes for Galatasaray there, Noah Lang on, and Mario Lemina. Gundogan and Sané, the two former Manchester City men, are both withdrawn. Davinson Sanchez out towards Charlie, ball in towards Osimhen. Osimhen inside the penalty area, taken off his toes really well by Hjerneti. The flag is up anyway. Matters not. Just an angled ball forward. Osimhen looks like he may have been just a couple of inches offside, not much in it, but either way he couldn't bring it down inside the penalty area. Antalyaspor will have this free kick. They send forward. Davinson Sanchez just touches it down towards the path of Lamina. Here's Budak. Jakobs on the left-hand side. Jakobs just caught a little bit late by Abdullah Umar. Nothing malicious in it, and the referee only gives the throw. Davinson Sanchez has it at the back for Galatasaray. They need to try and build a head of steam and do it early in this second half. The aptly named Antalyaspor, the Scorpions being their nickname. Well, there was certainly a sting in the tail for Galatasaray at the end of that first half. Budak. That towards the left-hand side with Noah Lang. Lang towards the edge of the penalty area. Just taken off the toes, though, of Akgun, who couldn't pick it up. Galatasaray pick up the loose ball, and then they get in each other's way. A mixture of Akgun and Torreira. But then again, every time they look to try and spring forward, the Scorpions, the sting is just taken out of them. So forward come Galatasaray down the right-hand side. Yilmaz just off that right-hand side now. Forward he goes. Down towards the edge of the penalty area. Work towards the edge of the box, but can't be collected by Akgun. And away comes with it Ballet down that left-hand side. Given away, though, by Davinson Sanchez. But hands on Paul. The referee gives the free kick, and as time ticks by, the more frustrated these Galatasaray players will become, and you can bet your bottom dollar the more frustrated this ferocious home support will become. As we see some of those worried looking faces in the Galatasaray crowd. Long ball forward by Antalyaspor, down the right hand side, headed away by Roland Charlet, who just fell heavily. He felt that Ballet had just made a little bit of a backing in motion to him. Charlet was certainly coming in at pace. Galatasaray then with the ball in their own half. Budak. Here's Lamina. Good angled ball out towards Noah Lang, wide on this left-hand side. Lang up towards the edge of the penalty area. Inside the box, will it fall for anyone? Hooked up into the air by Paul. Out comes the keeper, fended down, not punched clear or by any means away by Yagita. It's collected again by Lang. Lang tries to chip one into the penalty area. His cross is blocked, collected by Akgun. Akgun tries to angle one towards the far post, gets it all wrong. Osimhen claps the effort, but again, just an effort or a chance or an advanced passage of play wasted by the home side, Galatasaray. Goal kick for Antalyaspor. Abdullah Yagita, one of 4 Turkish players, 5 Turkish players in this current outfield 11. They will know exactly what this means to Galatasaray. The entire league will. But forward come Antalyaspor down the right-hand side and towards the edge of the penalty area. Back come Jakobs to just tidy things up and go back towards Akar. Akar, the keeper, clears left-footed. And the header down is won by Noah Lang. Allowed a play for a throw-in to the Scorpions. All in white this evening, Antalyaspor, who lead here at the Ram Stadium in Istanbul. Long ball forward, trying to seek out Yilmaz down the right hand side. The long ball forward by Ismail Jakobs, the Ghanaian, the Senegalese man. Of course, he won the African Cup of Nations, Ismail Jakobs, not too long ago with Senegal in that highly controversial final. He will certainly be wanting more silverware to his name, the 26-year-old this season. As will all of these Galatasaray players. They know they are close, but they are opening the door for Fenerbahce with every minute that ticks by. Antalyaspor just on halfway, a little angled ball inside the Galatasaray half. Sesse collects. Chipped ball up now towards the front plan. It's neatly played out towards this right-hand side, and Forward comes Omar. Omar offloads in towards the feet of Bunyamin Bolk, who had that assist for the only goal that we've had this evening. Brilliant cross into the penalty area. The header was dispatched by Dickman almost on the stroke of half-time. Ball back with Galatasaray keeper Jurgen Akar. Just lays one short out towards Davinson Sanchez, who just marauds towards halfway. Out towards the right-hand side. Roland Charlie. Charlie finds the feet of Yilmaz. Yilmaz gets his cross in from deep. Fended away by the Scorpions' defence. Collected though on the edge of the penalty area. Yang can't get there as it was just helped down by Akgün. And it will be collected though by Galatasaray, still inside opposition territory. Jakobs, Lang. Jakobs goes again. Jakobs tries to cut it back. Really good defending. Galatasaray appeal for a handball and a penalty. And the referee is just going to let VAR have a quick look at this one. It's one of those ones where the defender comes sliding in. It was neat play between Jakobs and Lang. And then it was the ball in from Jakobs that was low. But it certainly seemed to just hit the chest before it did cannon up under the armpit, really, of the Antalyaspor man sliding in, who was Benjamin Bolk. And in the end, it is just a throw-in, check over. Jakobs then with the long throw. The Senegalese man hurls it in towards the penalty area. Flicked on, headed further away by the back line. Not clear yet. Galatasaray try and help it goalwards, but in the end, it's going to be collected by Hjernete, and he'll chest it down. And right foot volley, he'll clear it deep into towards the Galatasaray half. Forward they will come again. Halfway with Lamina. Out towards this left-hand side, Jakobs. Badak. Davinson Sanchez. Akgün. Torreira. Badak again. Now they're up towards the edge of the penalty area with Noah Lang down this left-hand side. Right-footed ball in towards the far post. Headed back across the face of goal and headed home. Well, that's exactly why he was brought on at half-time, to be more of a physical presence in the box. And Mario Lamina just arrived right on cue to head back into the net from the ball back across the face of goal after Noah Lang swung across in from deep. The substitutes have done the damage and they've pulled Galatasaray level. Noah Lang swung it in towards the far post. Yilmaz headed it back across the 6-yard box, and there arrived Mario Lamina for his second goal of the season. He couldn't miss from all of 2 yards out. Galatasaray won, Antalyaspor won, and there is all to play for in Istanbul. Antalyaspor get us back underway. Long ball forward, headed away by Jakobs. How big is that goal? How big will it prove come the end of the evening? Fenerbahce, well, they won't have known, but they were celebrating a goal themselves. They've gone 2-0 up. So still 2 points in it, but forward come Galatasaray with Yilmaz down the right-hand side. Yilmaz just dispossessed by Cisse over on the left-hand side. Throw in, though, for Galatasaray. Wow. Fenerbahce, as I say, went 2-0 up, almost on exactly the same stroke of play where Mario Lamina dispatched his header. Antalyaspor then, 1 point away from the drop zone. That pulls them back into the mix. Cengiz Beligi are also drawing 2-2. Free kick for Galatasaray, taken from deep in towards the near post. Not a good free kick, headed away from the penalty area by the Scorpions' defence. Up into the air, up into the Istanbul sky. Headed down by Torreira. Worked out towards his left-hand side where Lang is in space again, and off goes Lang. Forward and direct towards the edge of the penalty area. Inside the box, works it towards the edge. Strike comes in. And in the end, the strike that came in from Charlie was just a little bit too excitable. Never really got over the ball, did Charlie. Plenty of space for him to set himself, but he just skewed his shot off the outside of his right boot. The Fenerbahce fans will be in fine voice away on the other side of the city, but the Galatasaray fans now have found their voice and they're trying to roar their team over the line. They know that a win tonight, it doesn't matter what their rivals do in second, they will have the trophy given to them at the end of the match. But at the moment, a draw is not good enough. Jacobs. Bardak, the captain. Davinson Sanchez. He comes forward towards halfway. Angled ball with his right foot towards the left-hand side, where again Noah Lang brings it down brilliantly. Can he keep it in play? Yes, he can. And he'll win a corner. Fabulous play from Noah Lang. The Dutch international has come on for his 13th appearance, but he certainly helped turn this game at least halfway around, and he'll be the man who takes this corner. Right-footed from the left-hand side. It'll be an in-swinger from Lang. Towards the penalty area, punched away by Yugita, worked back into the penalty area. It was a low drive in by Akgün. Osimhen tried to help it goalwards, and in the end it was just a couple of feet wide. And it was a good delivery in the corner from Lang. Yugita came, as he has so often this evening, and punched away, and then the first time hit on his left foot from Yunus Akgün. Wasn't quite goal bound, and Osimhen tried to flick a back heel at it and try and reverse it back inside the post, but couldn't get anything on it. Goal kick to Yugita and to Antalyaspor. Taken downfield, but again they just cannot keep possession. Yilmaz collects on the right hand side. Davinson Sanchez. Back he goes towards Captain Badak inside his own half. Jacobs down the left hand side. Lang drives in field. Gives the ball away though, and Antalyaspor will try and break, but again it's just wasted, this time by Abdulakid Omar. Gifts the ball straight back to those red and yellow shirts that keep pouring forward. Davinson Sanchez, he tries to work one forward. Cut out though by Kenneth Parr. He plays a neat little 1-2 with Safuri, and Parr will come forward down this left-hand side, and he's got support as well with Ballet. Ballet towards the edge of the penalty area. Ballet has a drive! Good save by Akar, because it took a deflection, and he had to get down smartly, even though it was almost straight at him to keep it out. But the referee has pulled it back for the free kick, because Ballet seems to be caught. The referee decided that there was no advantage from the shot that was on target. It was Torreira who was adjudged to have fouled his man. It certainly looked a little bit soft. It was just half a pull, and then the referee is adjudged. In fact, he's saying it came off the arm of Torreira. He had his arms up in front of his face. But this is certainly a dangerous position for the league's relegation threatened club Antalyaspor. Can they get the effort on target? Dickman stands over it, right-footed. Dickman has a go! What a free kick! Dickman has put Antalyaspor back in front. And while his first one may have come off his shoulder, well, this one has come straight off the right boot and straight into the top corner. Akkar couldn't get anywhere near it at full stretch. It went like a missile into the top corner. And once again, Galatasaray are behind. Sonar Dickman has dispatched a beauty of a free kick into the top corner. Right-footed, pace, curl, precision. 2-1 to Antalyaspor. And Galatasaray once again have it all to do. What a free kick for the man with his 4th goal of the season. And the Turkish man who takes up the centre midfield position for Galatasaray. Well, he's only scored 6 goals for the club. He won't have scored too many better than that. So, we are back underway. Galatasaray 1, Antalyaspor 2. Yilmaz comes down the right-hand side. Ball in towards the penalty area. Osimhen goes down. Referee gives the penalty. Well, the Antalyaspor players cannot believe it. Osimhen seemed to throw himself to the floor. We'll have to wait for the replays to see just how much he was caught. He tried to get in front of his man. He did get the first touch to it. It seemed to be Jesper Sesse who just may have just caught the ankle of Osimhen ever so slightly. He certainly caught the bottom of the boot. Osimhen went down in a heap. Certainly made a meal of it. There's certainly contact. And well, seconds after taking the lead, a penalty is given to the league leaders. Dickman can't believe it. Aghast at the decision that Kagdes Altay has awarded to Galatasaray. The keeper Bunyamin Bolt protests, but I don't think it'll be overturned. It's one of those decisions that if it's not given, there's probably not enough for VAR to get involved and say that it's a clear and obvious decision for the referee to award a penalty. But because of the slight contact from Jesper Sesse on the bottom of Osimhen's boot, when the referee awards it in regular play, it's one of those that won't be overturned. So Yagita against Osimhen will be the battle from 12 yards. Victor Osimhen seeking out his 15th goal of the season. Abdullah Yagita, well, he's previously played for Fenerbahce. They will be hoping that he can keep this out. 25 minutes to go. Osimhen with the penalty. It'll be right-footed against Yagita. Osimhen steps up, delays his run up, right-footed, sends Yagita the wrong way. We're back level. Confident taken penalty from the Nigerian Victor Osimhen. He gets his 15th goal of the season and he draws Galatasaray level once more. Galatasaray 2, Antalyaspor 2, and Antalyaspor were ahead for just a matter of minutes before Victor Osimhen has pulled Galatasaray back level from the spot. This title race again takes another twist, another turn towards championship glory for Galatasaray. But they need to win here tonight if they're going to do it in front of their home team. Before we get back underway, there's going to be another double change. Icardi is being readied. So we'll certainly see two changes because Jacobs is going to be replaced for El Mali. And Icardi is going to be brought on for Yilmaz. So two changes for the home side as they draw themselves level once more. Back underway, Safuri tried to just lay it inside the back line of Galatasaray, but they were wise to it, and now they'll try and break away with Icardi, and as Osimhen beat the offside trap, he's in towards the penalty area, lays one across the face of goal, and now the offside flag goes up. He did seem like he'd gone just a little bit early. And as for the bottom of the league, Kanchabigli are still drawing 2-2. They're on 29 points. Antalyaspor now drawing 2-2 themselves here at the Ram Stadium. They're on 30 points. A team that have jumped up a few places tonight, Eyüpspor, they've gone from 29 points to 32. They're 3-0 up. Goal kick taken, downfield. Headed away well by Davinson Sanchez. Just bounces around aimlessly. Everyone appeals for handball. Referee blows, and it'll be a free kick to Galatasaray that will be taken quickly by Torreira. They've almost gone 4-2-4 now of Galatasaray. They are really throwing caution to the wind to try and get this championship won, done, sealed, signed and delivered here tonight at home. El Mali in at left back. Bardak, Davinson Sanchez and Charlie across the defensive line. In front of them, Torreira. And then it is almost Lamina and Atkin, almost both in a cam position. Lang down the left, Icardi down the right, Osimhen through the middle. Here comes Atkin. Tries to lay it down the line for El Mali, who's very advanced from left back, but cut out. Bardak scampers back to tidy it up. Bardak. Torreira inside the Scorpions half. The team in white just sit in a low defensive block and invite Galatasaray forward, and Davinson Sanchez accepts that invitation. Down this left-hand side, El Mali, good ball in, just misses Icardi. Osimhen couldn't get there either. Goes all the way through. The referee's going to pull it back for the foul. Osimhen just judged to have been a little bit late and a little bit too robust in his arrival. And he certainly wants this Antalyaspor side to get on with it quickly. Free kick will be taken by the team all in white then this evening. Just have to take one look at the crowd to tell what stadium we're in. Just a sea of red and white. The referee has just dished out the yellow card to Abdullah Yagita for time wasting. So the Antalyaspor keeper booked, second booking of this evening. He goes into the book alongside Budak, who was booked for Galatasaray in the first half. Davinson Sanchez up towards halfway for Galatasaray. Here's Budak. Space on the left-hand side for Galatasaray to probe. They decide against it. Go back to Torreira. They're just trying to move the ball a little bit quicker from left to right. They work it back out towards Budak, the centre-back. Very advanced now. Finds El Mali on this left-hand side. El Mali's pass is loose. Gifted it away back towards the Antalyaspor players who try and come forward and lead the counter-attack through the likes of Dickman and Omar, but they give it away again. Davinson Sanchez. Back it goes towards the captain again, Budak. And in towards the feet of Torreira, who's just on halfway. Torreira, right-footed, switches out towards the right-hand side where Charlet is there. Charlet works an early ball in, but not enough on it. Collected by the Galatasaray midfield again, but now they give it away. Only as far as Abdullah Omar. And it'll be a throw-in to the visiting team. 20 minutes to go here in Istanbul. Elsewhere across the city, Fenerbahce are now 3-0 up. So they've done exactly what they needed to do tonight. You'd have to think that that is all but sewed up against Konyaspor. But Galatasaray still have work to do, and only 19 minutes to do it in. Torreira, Davinson Sanchez up towards halfway, chipped out towards the right-hand side, but chipped out with a lot too much loft and pace on it over the head of Charlet. Galatasaray really are advanced now. Bardak and Davinson Sanchez are almost playing as two lone centre-backs. Torreira is dropping very deep in front of them. He's almost a third centre-back. And then Charlet and El Mali are almost two wing-backs supporting the front line. Neat play by the visiting team down the right-hand side. Sese works it across field in towards Bale. Bale has Parle overlapping. Parle towards the edge of the area. Seeks out Safuri. Safuri across the face of goal. Easily cut out there by Davinson Sanchez. He chips it up towards Icardi, and Icardi lets it run for Lang, and now there's a 3-on-3 developing. Noah Lang, he cuts inside. He's got Icardi in space just inside the penalty area. Icardi across the face of goal. Osimhen off the line by the goalkeeper. Lang tries the acrobatics. The referee's going to pull it back. The flag is up on the far side. Well, Galatasaray broke with intent. They developed the counter-attack really well. Noah Lang drove inside, found Icardi on the right-hand side, and Icardi's first-time cross. Lang couldn't get there. Osimhen could, but Osimhen was just half a yard offside. And that'll be the danger for Antalyaspor as they come forward. The minute they committed men to the attack, Galatasaray now have so much pace and so many men advanced in the second third of the pitch. The likes of Lang and Osimhen and Icardi are heavily supported now by Lamina and Atkin. And Antalyaspor risk just having possession turned over and being counter-attacked on. So I'm going to have to measure this game to perfection just over the 15 minutes that we have left. Akkar, the Galatasaray keeper, then plays it out towards the feet of Badak. Here's Torreira, takes up station just in front of the back four, still inside his own half, can't decide on a pass. Goes across field and towards the path of Lamina. And now it's back again at the feet of Badak. Lang comes very deep to collect. El Mali very wide on this left-hand side. Badak thought about offloading to Lang, decides against it. He'll travel forward. It's up towards Osimhen, who looked offside again. The linesman keeps his flag down, though, and they clear it away only as far as the number 99 and the man who drew things level at the first time of asking, Mario Lamina. In towards the feet of Atkin. Atkin has a go. Wow, charged down, though, by the defensive unit of this Scorpions team. But again, they give it away. In towards the feet of Badak. Badak comes forward. Allows Atkin to take it off him and then offload to Lang on this left-hand side. Lang up towards the edge of the penalty area. He chips it in towards the far post. Osimhen heads it down up and over the top of the crossbar. Well, Noah Lang has been an absolute nuisance in coming on in this second half. And again, he just had Benjamin Bolk in a position where he didn't want to be, backing up into his own 18-yard box. Didn't close him down enough. And now Lang the space just to measure and chip a ball towards the far post, and then the header down by Victor Osimhen was just off target. That'll allow a change for the visiting team. So Abdullah Omar comes off. Samet Karatkot will come on. So Karatkot and Dickman now will make up the midfield. They're going to actually make a double change. So Benjamin Balk is going to be withdrawn, the captain. Erdogan Yesler, he will be the man to replace him. So fairly like-for-like changes as this Antalyaspor team try and just inject a little bit more pace. See if they can hang on to what they've got. Late challenge by Lamina, and the man who's just been introduced down this right-hand side, and the man who's stayed down. And wow, Galatasaray aren't interested in kicking the ball out. They're going to play on. Slipped in ball in towards the path of Atkin. Did really well to intercept it. Galatasaray now want a foul for a little bit of a coming together between the opposing players as he slid in. But, well, first of all, they're reviewing the challenge that was put in by Lamina. For all intensive purposes, Lamina jumps in, but does win the ball. Lang now on the edge of the penalty area. Lang thought about it first time, delayed it. Lang has a drive, swerved in the air. It's well saved by Yagita. Worked back out towards the left-hand side. Atkin. Torreira. Davinson Sanchez back towards the Galatasaray half. Sanchez across to his centre-back partner, Badak. Badak. Sanchez. Sanchez gambles forward. Chips one in towards the penalty area, seeking out Osimhen. Osimhen beaten in the air and offside again. It's 4 or 5 times tonight now. Victor Osimhen has been caught the wrong side of this Antalyaspor back line. Just seeing the other challenge that Galatasaray wanted a foul for. Absolutely nothing in it for me. Argentinian Chianete timed his challenge really well. And then it was just the trailing leg of Atkin that almost collided with Chianete. So we're just seeing the ball that was chipped into Osimhen again. He's never just offside, Victor Osimhen. It's a couple of times he's been at least half a yard, but the reason we haven't got on with things yet is because, again, there was an Antalyaspor player down receiving treatment. This time it was the man who has scored twice this evening, Sunna Dickman. Now Osimhen is not happy. He wants the coaching staff off the pitch quicker. Now Osimhen is getting involved in things he doesn't need to get involved with. Osimhen's been booked. Now there's still an argument going on amongst the players on the field. Yesler has also been booked for his part for an argument really that was breaking out between him and Osimhen about how quickly Dickman was leaving the pitch after receiving treatment. But we're back underway. So Osimhen and Yesler, the two latest players in the referee's notebook. And Osimhen, well, he is certainly seeing red, and he is certainly desperate for Galatasaray to win this title tonight. But at the moment, they're not doing so, and it's all going down to the last game, because Fenerbahce are winning 3-0 away from home. So as it stands, there will be 2 points in it on the final day of the season. Antalyaspor, well, they are just outside the drop zone. It is all to play for as they swing a ball into the penalty area. Headed away by Galatasaray. Collected though by the midfield of Karakok, and then worked back down the line again. Osimhen's going to go for a run all the way towards the edge of the penalty area. Osimhen checks back. Was he fouled by Kenneth Powell over on the left-hand side? Referee says no. Powell brings it out, plays it in towards the midfield where it's collected by Sona Dickman. Space on this right-hand side now for Bale. Bale works it up towards the edge of the penalty area though. Dispossessed and worked away by the Galatasaray back line. And then given away, Safuri collects. Space on this right-hand side for the man who recently came on and then was booked straight away, Yesler. Yesler works it in towards the penalty area. Galatasaray fended away up towards Icardi. Icardi manages to just head it back in towards the path of Torreira. Torreira chips one out towards the right-hand side for Charlie to make tracks over halfway. Charlie turns back, then works it down the line. Good ball in towards Atkin. Atkin now backs up Paul in towards the edge of the penalty area. Atkin looks for support. Has it with Icardi on the edge of the penalty area. Here's Charlie again. Lamina. Lamina invites forward the centre-back Badak. He's deep inside the opposition half. Ball laid out towards the left-hand side for El Mali, but El Mali was just sold a little bit short. Away comes the right-hand winger of Bale, but Bale just seemed to fell his man. Yes, he did. That'll be a free kick to Galatasaray. And Antalyaspor, well, there's bad news for Antalyaspor fans, because Gençler Birliği, who were losing 2-0 after 20 minutes in the first half, they've turned it round. They are now 3-2 ahead, and that drops Antalyaspor into the relegation zone by a point. Still 4 teams, though, who could occupy that last relegation place. All to play for at both ends of the Turkish Super League. Galatasaray have a free kick then over on the far left-hand side. Lang is going to swing it in high, but he's overhit that. It's all the way towards the far post. In fact, it doesn't even land inside the pitch. It goes straight out of play, much to the displeasure of Victor Osimhen. I'm just seeing back exactly the furore that caused the yellow card between Osimhen and between Yesler. Osimhen wanted the physio in the water team, I think, off the pitch quicker. He then tried to stop Yesler having a conversation with his own coaching staff. Osimhen then got booked for remonstrating, and I'm not entirely sure what Yesler got booked for, but either way, both of them did go into the referee's notebook. Switch of play by Galatasaray out towards the left-hand side. Lang brings it down, brilliant. He's got El Mali overlapping. El Mali in towards the penalty area, all the way through the 6-yard box, but collected by the Scorpions keeper Yagita. 8 minutes of the 90 to go. Parr works it down the left-hand side for the away side. Flicked off the ankles of the on-Russian Charlie. But they will know now, Antalyaspor, I'm sure news would have got through to them. They have fell into the relegation zone. Now they're in that position, knowing that Galatasaray have to win, so they throw caution to the wind themselves. Long ball by Safuri, out towards Bale on this right-hand side, and Bale has space to run into. Bale makes his way in towards the penalty area, still going, drops a couple of shoulders, gets it onto his left foot, has a left-footed go, and it's deflected behind for a corner. Well, Antalyaspor will take that. Samuel Bale just backed up El Mali, and in the end, Torreira had to come across to help close him down. It was the deflection off Lucas Torreira, the Uruguayan, that's won this corner. So, corner that'll be taken over on the right-hand side. 4 white shirts in the box, 3 on the edge. Ball whipped in towards the near post, headed away from trouble by the Galatasaray back line. Torreira goes after it, headed down by Karakok and then clattered into his own man Yesler. And in fact it's Safuri who's stayed down. Just a collision between 2 of the Antalyaspor players. And it's certainly Safuri who's come off a little bit worse. He just lays prone on the deck. Ramzi Safuri. Well, Galatasaray know that time is against them. Frustrated figures cast around the Ram Stadium. Lucas Torreira, of course, one of them, the former Arsenal and Fiorentina, Atletico Madrid, Sampdoria, very, very experienced 30-year-old midfielder, of course known as the heart of this Lions midfield. Of course, he would have thought that he'd almost wrapped the title up when he scored the 3rd goal in Galatasaray's dismantling of Fenerbahce in the 3-0 last month, but since then Galatasaray lost last week and are being held here at home this evening. We're back underway. Davinson Sanchez up towards halfway. Sanchez right-footed, across the pitch it goes, in towards Badak. Noah Lang now on the left-hand side, back to Badak once more. Badak lays it down the line in towards El Mali. And El Mali will just work it back towards Davinson Sanchez again. Davinson Sanchez just takes up the position on the edge of the penalty area. Now they'll work it back across the face of goal in towards Torreira. Torreira. Back again he goes towards Lang. They'll work a left-footed ball in towards Osimhen! Just couldn't get over the header one too many times this evening. That Osimhen has not been able to get over the top of it. And how many times will we say that this Galatasaray team aren't able to get on top of it? Because here in Istanbul, it is still Galatasaray 2, Antalyaspor 2. Goal kick will be taken by Yagita. Yagita goes long in towards the Galatasaray half. Headed away from trouble by Galatasaray. Up towards Icardi. Icardi helps it up and over and down the line, and off goes Charlet again. Parle will defend it well and help it out of trouble. It's 4 minutes on the clock. 4 minutes for Galatasaray to find a goal that will win the Turkish league. They throw everyone forward. They've been pegged back twice in this game. Have Antalyaspor after taking the lead against the run of play, against all the odds, the relegation threatened club. Have 4 minutes of regular time to hold out. Long throw by Galatasaray in towards the penalty area. Headed down towards the edge of the drive. Driven goalwards by Sanchez. Helped backwards by Agun. They flicked on towards the penalty area. Good save. Osimhen touches it home. Osimhen has done it. Galatasaray may have just wrapped up the league title with one flick of the Nigerian striker's boot. He's wrapped things up with his 16th goal of the season. The Galatasaray fans are in delirium. Yagita couldn't help it out. It was fired in towards the penalty area once, then a second time. The deflection bundled around the 6-yard box, and there was Victor Osimhen. But wait, we still have drama. Davinson Sanchez fired it in. There's a VAR check going on because they want to know, was Osimhen in an offside position? He doesn't look to have been. As the ball was fired in by Akgun, it was fended away by Yagita. It was helped back into the penalty area. Osimhen swung a boot at it. It took a deflection and ended up in the roof of the net. Osimhen ripped his protective face mask off and went straight towards the fans and the substitutes, and so he should. What a massive goal that could be for Galatasaray, but the check continues. Well, the referee, Cactus Altay, has called Icardi over and has also called the captains over to make sense of what this decision will be. We're just seeing the replay again. Flicked towards the edge of the penalty area. Davinson Sanchez's shot was blocked. The Atkin drive was sent goalwards. I think they're looking to see if at that point Osimhen was in an offside position. He doesn't look to be. Now there's a little bit of a melee breaking out on halfway. Tensions are high. This goal looks like it will stand. Now yellow cards are being dished out to more players for a little flashpoint. It looked to me like Hjernette and Lang who found their way into the book. Lang was certainly shown the yellow card. We'll get confirmation on if it was Hjernette. But what a dramatic moment. What a dramatic moment in what has been a constant dramatic league. But that goal may have just sealed the Turkish league title for a 25th time for Galatasaray. Still time. We're back underway. The goal stands. Antalyaspor come forward. 5 minutes added on. Another yellow card is going to be shown by the referees. Dishing them out like confetti now. I think this one was for Davinson Sanchez for kicking the ball away. He's saying that the atmosphere is so loud in the Ram Stadium here in Istanbul that he couldn't hear. Galatasaray are going to try and help wind the clock down. There's going to be another change before this free kick is taken. Davinson Sanchez still pleading his innocence, and the Galatasaray players are still trying to work out why Victor Osimhen just wants to get into an argument, because he's been shown his number. Victor Osimhen's 16th goal of the season could be the one that has wrapped up the title as he is withdrawn. And the 27-year-old Nigerian swaggers off into the dugout and takes all the plaudits from his teammate. The man signed for a record fee from Napoli has certainly proved his worth here tonight. But still there's time. Free kick will be taken by Galatasaray keeper Jurgen Akar. Right-footed, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Headed away. Helped forward down the right-hand side by Galatasaray up towards halfway. It's given away. Collected by the back line of the away side. The Scorpions try and come forward again. They themselves needed a result here tonight because they have been plunged into the relegation zone and are now adrift by 2 points, occupying 16th spot. Just to confirm the substitute as well, it was Ayan who was brought on for Osimhen, so they moved Icardi up top, and they're certainly now looking to see if they can shore things up in the midfield. Torreira and Ayan and Lamina will marshal that back line. Akgun and Lang will be left to their devices up top, just in behind Icardi. Free kick into the penalty area by Antalyaspor. Header is won. Helped goalwards. Headed away though by the Galatasaray back line. Helped back in though by Antalyaspor. Keeper comes from a long way out and only fists away inside his own penalty area. Helped back into the penalty area. Appeals for a foul on Davinson Sanchez, not given. So Sanchez takes control of the situation and slams it out of play over on the far side. We have 2 minutes of the added on 5 to go here in Istanbul. Is there going to be one last chance? Will there be one last twist in the tail on the penultimate day of the season? Headed away by Lang as the long ball forward by the Scorpions was sent into the Galatasaray box. They collected on the right-hand side with Yesele. Long angled ball forward now into the penalty area. The Alamo being thrown in. Headed away by Galatasaray and touched away over on the far side by Akgun. Akgun wants the foul. Referee was right there and waved it away. 90 seconds to go. Down the line, down the left-hand side come the Scorpions. Left-footed low cross in. Davinson Sanchez hopes it away. Driven goalwards. Deflected by the back line of Galatasaray and then hooked away out of trouble by Lamina. Up towards Icardi. Plays the 1-2. Icardi sent for something to chase once more. Icardi's going to take this surely towards the corner. He just holds it up. Does really well. Gets away from his man inside the penalty area. This could wrap it up! It does wrap it up! The Galatasaray players flood the pitch. They know that that is it. They will be champions. The counter-attack from Galatasaray was ruthless. Icardi did brilliantly down the left-hand side. The Argentinian held the ball up. He could have took it towards the corner, but he decided against it. He cut inside and he saw Ayan, the substitute, making the run from deep and laid it on a plate for him to dispatch it into the net past Yagita. It's Galatasaray 4, Antalyaspor 2, and Galatasaray are champions of the Turkish League for the 25th time. Make no mistake about it, that is things wrapped up. Well, it's Ayan's first goal of the season, and what a time to get it. Off the bench, replacing Osimhen, he made the run from deep, he had the energy in the legs, fresh off the bench, and he had the finish to dispatch it past the keeper of Yagita in the net for Antalyaspor. The Galatasaray fans are in raptures here in Istanbul. They know that it is done, and they have been put through the mill this evening. 1-0 down in the first half on the stroke of half-time, courtesy of that Dickman header. They pulled things back in the second half, but now not only have they taken the lead late through Osimhen, they've shored things up through Kaan Ayan's first goal of the season, and they're already celebrating on the bench. But now they can celebrate, because there is the full-time whistle. Antalyaspor have been plunged into trouble in the relegation zone, but the main story tonight, all across Turkey and especially here in Istanbul, is the fact that Galatasaray are champions of the Turkish League for a 25th time. They've been put through it in the first half. Soner Dickman gave Antalyaspor the lead right on the stroke of half-time with a really well-measured flicked header. In the second half, the changes made by Okan Buruk, well, they came to fruition straight away. Mario Lemina's header, he couldn't miss as it was squared back across the face of goal. He drew things level, but then massively against the run of play once again, Soner Dickman's unbelievable free kick was rifled into the top corner, past the outstretched gloves of Akar, but two keepers wouldn't have kept it out. Seconds later, though, that league didn't last long, as Osimhen was felled in the box. He stepped up and dispatched the penalty, sending Yagita the wrong way. And then as we ticked to full time, Fenerbahce had won 3-0. It looked like it was going to the last day of the season, but Victor Osimhen had other ideas. Shots were fired into the box, deflections ricocheted around, but it arrived to the heel of Osimhen, and he just flicked it into the net, courtesy of a deflection off the helpless defence of Antalyaspor players who couldn't keep it out, much for the want of trying. And as we tick towards the full-time whistle, brilliant play from Mario Icardi, who could have held it up and took it to the corner, but he danced inside and then he laid it on a plate for Kaan Ayan. The 31-year-old Turkish-born gets his first goal of the season, and he wraps up the Turkish League for Galatasaray. What a night it has been here in Istanbul. These celebrations will go late into the evening. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. But what you have to appreciate is just how well Galatasaray have done this evening. They've really done well to come from behind. They've showed character and class. And as the whistle blew here at the Rams Park, the stadium quite literally erupted. You only have to look at the sea of red and yellow pouring out from the stands. Flares igniting in every corner of the stadium, but it's official. Galatasaray are the champions of Turkey. They needed 3 points to turn this stadium into a coronation hall, and they have delivered. 77 points now on board. They've climbed a mountain that no one else can summit. The most potent attack in the league has done its job, and the celebrations in Istanbul are only just beginning. But for Antalyaspor, the heartbreak is visible. They fought valiantly, but the sheer weight of a side that has scored over 70 goals this season was too much to withstand. They remain in the thick of a relegation dogfight, still just a point above the drop, and they will have to find their salvation on the final day. But tonight belongs to the Lions of Galatasaray from the Istanbul centre. The Mayazar's mantra rings true once again. Galatasaray are the kings of the Super League. Next up on the final day of the season, it'll be one of a coronation as Galatasaray are away to Kazım Pasha. But as these celebrations go late into the night here in Istanbul, thank you for joining us for another unforgettable chapter in this season's story in Turkey's Premier League. I'm Sean Cashmore, wishing you a safe evening, and the beautiful game continues, and we'll be right here bringing it to you again soon. Good night.